Damn, picture perfect canes. So as always, talk for several minutes and start recording. But since you were talking about like how you feel and stuff like that, I know you were even like in our last weekly update, we talked about Jen, you specifically because of like you feeling nervous about the Pepsid and all. Like, is this normal? And I was like,
I
there's
think I was
one
talking about like
person
the childbirth that I was
of
nervous.
the birth experience we were talking about, and I was like, the one person we know with the most experience is Jen.
Yeah, you have the most kids that I know.
So we figured.
That's a fun thing to be the number one for.
I know.
But of all this, you know, we're talking to all these fucking amateurs, and you guys are out here with 3 kids, outnumbered. Nobody else can speak to that shenanigans. And also in my world, you were the first to like, we're having babies, and people go, wow, because they expect us to. You guys had like this is cool. Like, I was like, you're having a fucking baby. You like freaked out when you guys are having a baby. Holding Nathan, I was like,
You also have like the most experience because you have the oldest child.
Well, yeah.
You've been doing it the longest, too.
that was deep.
First one, everyone helped us raise. He was like,
literally
he
everyone.
was the test baby. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't have done it without you, Steve. You helped God knows how many times. You were.
Yeah.
That's my dude. I was pumped, and it hit right at the right time of I think that's when I quit Kitchen Bar.
No, you were working there for a while.
You were still working when he was born. That's when we met.
I was thinking of when I used to babysit for you a lot. So like I had a Kitchen Bar. I had like a super crazy schedule. So if you needed me during like the day, I was usually available.
Yeah.
And you didn't need me 4 a.m. when I was gallivanting or like out with Matt doing something goofy. Like,
Man,
no, that
speaking
was
of that,
though.
speaking of that, you have changed.
yo, right?
Well, you were not a real adult when we had Nathan.
No.
Forced to become real adults, but
Yeah, you were still going to bed at 4 a.m. and
Matt worked nights at the time, and like Jen, I think you worked nights too.
I worked nights until like a couple months before I had him. I switched while I was pregnant.
It was definitely not uncommon for me to be up all night, and I remember even like you had Nathan was like a 30-hour labor, right? Because like Matt came to Kitchen Bar, and I don't remember if Mike was with him or not. But we came, it might have been all 3 of us. We went to Kitchen Bar and like I got done work and we went to the hospital and we're in the waiting room. We had the like that experience and it was like, it's not going to happen today. She's going to like go to bed. And we were like, okay, yeah.
I will never forget. I think it was Matt that texted me. I was like, yo, these chairs are uncomfortable out here. Can you speed this along? And I was like, I am going to kill them. Get them out of the waiting room.
Just what you wanted.
Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Nathan was a big part of me. I mean, that was like a grow up moment. We were, how old were you when you had Nathan?
We were.
What are we now?
We had just turned 25.
Mm.
Yeah, we had just, because I was 24 for most of the pregnancy.
We met like 2-3 months after Nathan was born.
Yeah. So I would have been 24. Eva would have been like 19.
23.
But yeah, that was like, and then right when he was probably like 2-ish, I quit Kitchen Bar. And I was like just around. I was like, yeah, I'll watch them. And we like spent a lot of time together, more than I have with any other kid. And I realized like, what do you do with kids? Now that's what I'm worried about. Like I remember you
just post obscenities towards Matt. And that's generally what happens. It's just a lot of fun.
That's definitely what you did when you watched
I got a lot of that novelty out of my system.
I think there's still a little bit more in your system.
That's why he was the best child. He was the one that everyone was like, should we do this one more? No, maybe.
Yeah. I'm just to trust him. I'm like, you want to eat this? And he just, if he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. And drag him around your one apartment in like your big Tupperware bins all day.
He loved that. He was
probably why I hurt my back.
Child though, the easiest kid. So
yeah.
So with all that experience, so many questions. But I guess I don't know if you want to talk like since we had talked about like birth and pregnancy, like questions you have or concerns you have about. So I'm curious, what were your 3? Like Nathan was a 30-hour.
Because he like is sticking out of my stomach, and it's like so weird and uncomfortable and hard.
Your alien baby going
You
on.
like feel him like pushing out, and it's just like on one side.
So you had, what were your 3 experiences like? Nathan was a 30-hour marathon.
So so when I went in with him, I was induced with all 3. The first one with Nathan, I was induced, but at the time, yeah, he's disgusting. They're hiccups, I think.
It's like, I feel like we're like 18 minutes from Pat just falling asleep.
The bodily functions that are going on here, I can't. Anyway, so I went in for my induction with Nathan, and then I was actually diagnosed then with preeclampsia, severe preeclampsia. I was started on a magnesium drip, and no one warned me at that time. So if for some reason you have to get put on that, which hopefully you don't, just know that you're not dying. It makes you feel like that, but no one told me that.
Seriously?
Oh my gosh. It's like with Owen, I was on it again, and I didn't feel as, terrible because I knew what to expect. And I
That's timing on these hiccups. I'm sorry.
You feel like you're dying.
I can't control it, but
hold your breath.
I'm trying.
take a sip of water.
Okay.
You sip a beer.
So wait,
Anyway,
okay, so you get this magnesium drip.
You feel like you're gonna die.
What does that mean?
So it makes you feel like you have the flu, like hard.
Oh, like so
You can't
sick.
lose muscle tone. So you like can't like Pat had to feed me after one of the kids. I forget. I just looked.
I
guess
put it
not
in my
that one.
mouth and then I regurgitated it. That's how it
Baby bird.
works.
Ah.
So just be ready for that.
I'm ready.
I don't think actually. I think that was after Owen you fed me. I don't because we weren't dating.
And here we are. So it's okay.
It feels like your body's on fire. It was just, but they didn't warn me about it.
Casual.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my first time having a child, and I didn't know if this was what labor was or if it was.
Yeah. So it's the magnesium drip that causes
It was that 100%. That labor was just by far my least favorite of all. When he actually came out, though, I mean, Steve came in the room, I think 5 minutes after he popped out. There's like blood everywhere still.
Oh my God.
But that was awesome. That was my favorite part. Molly was a very short delivery in comparison. I didn't have to get put on the magnesium with her. They induced me early enough that I didn't have to. And I got an epidural with all 3 of them, but with her, it didn't kick in yet. Like, right? Yeah, that was her. Sorry.
We shouldn't have talked to Jen.
No, it's okay. I actually read that like somebody said like when you're ready, like when you're almost ready to have it, like let them know because it takes a while for it to like
Right. Well, so
get it.
yes, exactly. But like I was like 3 or 4, I think, at that time, dilated. And so I was like, yeah, I need it. You know what? I was going to try not to get it so I could get up and like move around, but I was like, I need it. I'm going to get it. And while they were doing it, I went into transition. I don't know if you've read like
I read nothing.
like the end. It's like when you go like all of a sudden you just like dilate and you're ready.
Oh my
But-
God.
So while they were trying to put the needle in my back, and but anyway, she was my favorite delivery by far because I could feel everything. It was better. Like, I
Really?
preferred not having that, and then I got completely numb after I had her. It kicked in. That was a pain, but that was by far my favorite delivery. It was good.
Why?
Ridiculous.
Why is feeling it a good thing? Because it's easier.
Because the other stuff makes you feel like a corpse.
Well, no. Well, yeah. Because when you're epidural, you're like numb.
Yeah, and like you can. I mean, I think I have a fairly high pain tolerance, so like, I don't. I felt more in control. I think that's what it was. I felt more in control that way. And then Owen, I was super sick.
Yeah. So
But it wasn't. It actually wasn't terrible. It goes by quick. It really does.
yeah.
It's like moments of like I can't do it anymore,
Yeah.
and then a minute later you're like, okay, I got this again. Like
Yeah.
you have to like just refocus yourself and like remember why you're doing it. And it's really not as bad as they make it seem in movies. there's parts that really suck, but there's parts that are amazing. And it's wonderful seeing the strength inside yourself and like your partner and just having them there with you. And it's just, it's beautiful.
I really was expecting a whole lot of screaming, a whole lot of yelling, like, and it wasn't. It was just, all right, here's baby.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not for Nathan, but you know.
Yeah, I have a low pain tolerance. That's like my.
Well, I mean, epidurals are. I mean, I would say
fine.
the majority of people in the world get them, and like they do help a lot.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to be able to move, so I remember that like frustrated the hell out of me. I called my legs my tree trunks.
Yeah.
I had no feeling, and I was like, "Help me move this
Oh
one."
my God, that's so weird. Can't even imagine that.
It's a weird feeling.
You didn't have any C-sections, right?
Nope. And also, don't make nothing.
Is that off-camera thing you want to tell us?
Camera.
Not recording. Okay. Try to remember that in an hour.
Anyway, I think we can.
Ah,
Now we're back.
Classic Pat joke.
once you get to your third, it's classic.
And I hope we never do.
True, we'll probably be doing.
Put a lid on it too.
Yeah, number 3 is.
How long did you like actually push for with, I guess, all 3?
Nathan definitely the longest. Almost
28 hours, right, for Nathan?
No.
Or, like pushing.
No, push for 28 hours. I think it was almost 2 hours with him. Molly, it was maybe 30 minutes. I would say 30 to 45.
And then Owen just slid right out.
No, I had to.
I heard it was a sneeze.
No, but with Owen, his heart rate dropped. So I remember at one point the doctor looking at me and saying, like, you need to push now.
Yeah.
And then he just shot out.
Pat is like my favorite and least favorite friend. Jen was like, Owen's heartbeat dropped. And you hear, this was like, imagine we spent like 2 years at Penn State Abington together, and we would be in like a class, and like it would be that stupid nothing, and I would be in tears trying to pretend like in a room full of strangers I wasn't literally crying for no reason, just Pat's hiccuping.
Too, because you're laughing, and I'm looking at you, and then I start laughing, and then you start laughing back, and then it's just a vicious circle.
It's a beautiful circle. And I was like, Jen was telling us about like pregnancy, and I'm staring at her so hard because I can't look at you because you're like fighting the hiccups so hard, and I just can't see it. Damn. See, birth will be cool. It's like, yeah, it was fun to like go when everybody had babies and come. It's gonna be a weird COVID birth now, where like I hope I can go. You know what I mean? That's why we're like, as people are kind of easing up and Pennsylvania is like in the green phase and whatever, like if I have a temperature, they're gonna not let me in there. So we gotta like keep our shit locked down.
Drink a lot of OJ.
Keep Steve well until.
I'm gonna like ice my forehead before I go in there.
My doctor said it on Monday. She was like, stay away from people. Just keep distancing. She's like, you'll get tested when you get there. If your husband's sick, they're not gonna let him in. So we gotta like no coughing, no fevers. Yeah.
If you get a fever, I'll step right in. I'll be like, I got you. I'll be there.
You're number like 4 on the depth chart. It's like Eva's mom.
I'll move my way up.
Jess, and then you got to be right there. And you're the first replacement for me. Well, I guess they're all for me.
Yeah, they're all for you. I was telling my mom that and this is probably because I don't know what labor is going to feel like. Nor do I know what being tested for COVID is going to feel like, but I can imagine what it would feel like to have a Q-tip shoved all the way up my nose. And I'm almost like more nervous about getting tested.
You couldn't have a better guest than you've got today.
I know. I was just thinking you also have had that experience of being tested.
You're our first guest who has, probably had COVID, let's be honest.
Was the test horrible?
Not bad. No, it's not that bad.
You like to Q-tip your ears. Same principle.
I mean, it's temporary. It's like a second. They go
like
up.
It burns for like 2 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
And you just sneeze for a few minutes.
And you're like, and that's it, right?
Yeah. I think
It'll be
you'll
the least of your problem.
like other things at that point.
That's what I mean. I figure I'll be probably in. I was texting with Erica the other day, and I was like thinking about this, like, what when you go into labor, like, I was like, do I go to the emergency room or She's like, you're gonna call your OB. She's like, they'll tell you what to do. If it's, she's like, we went in the middle of the night. We went to the ER, but we don't. I haven't read anything. I haven't looked at anything. Part of it is because I think I'm so nervous that I just like don't want to think about it. I just want to like go in blind. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but
you just got like the pamphlet thing for like virtual pregnancy classes. I'll at least go to those.
Yeah,
like,
we'll
I think we
do
need to have
that.
some kind of prep.
idea.
That. Oh, COVID is just.
Yeah.
I'm
Which is
sorry.
like better, right? Because I'd rather like do it virtually, have to go
Yeah,
somewhere
to
and
go,
like
Wait, ours? So it was at Einstein, like main campus.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was a bunch of people local to Einstein. And there was a brother that came with a sister. And he had on like a big like winter coat. And it was like end of April. It was hot out. I remember it being very hot. I had like a tank top
Yeah,
on.
it wasn't cold.
It was very hot out. He had that on the whole class. And they brought out these Lorna Doone cookies for all of us. And he shoved a whole sleeve into his coat. I'll never forget that. He was right across the table. We were like, what just happened? It was
I
like,
felt weird taking one, and then
it was
he's
like
just
one
shoving the sleeve.
just for like the, 10 people at the class.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
So you guys won't have to deal with that.
It was like
Around
a
could-
full day
yeah.
class, and it was just so online. Actually, yeah, that's probably a better.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's gonna be weird. I'm assuming that like I'll be in the hospital. How long are you in the hospital for after you deliver? A few days?
Two.
Yeah, 2 days.
And then if I have C-section, I think it's an additional day.
But it's
Yeah.
like, it depends. Like, what time before midnight and stuff. I don't know. There's weird rules with insurance and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But I don't think they kick you out till you're ready.
It's gonna be super weird.
Very weird.
So how are you quarantining? I know that you both still have to work and
Yeah, we're out and about.
I mean, we work, but we don't really see anybody yet. I mean, we just started seeing our families.
Yeah.
We saw my parents last week, and yours too. I haven't seen his parents, but he took them last weekend, right?
Right. Yeah, we're slowly adding more people to our lives, and we can't not include them again. But no one knew anything about this, so we were just like, you know what? Everyone shut off for now.
Yeah.
I know my
So-
parents said that they're like, we're not doing that again, even if it gets really bad again. Like obviously if we're sick or has symptoms or anything,
Yeah.
stay away. But we're not going to do the months of not seeing each other again. It's just, it's a lot. It's really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, it
You-
sucks.
How's the quarantining going?
It's I know you're a big fan of the pod, so you've heard this before, but it's like a blessing and a curse. Like we get to be together all day. Like Eva has to pee and is uncomfortable and like doesn't have to drive to work or wear like
Yeah.
goofy work clothes or pants or like you just chill
Yeah.
out.
Very comfortable.
And we get to have like lunch together every day. Like we
Steve, and he watches you pee, I get it.
yeah, peeing with the door shut is pretty much done. But it's cool in that way, but it's like it's hard because like her mom's a doctor, so she's been over a couple times with Aaron and they had dinner in the backyard, but like the first time was probably like a month. It was around your birthday.
I think the first time was not my birthday. It was like before that.
Either way, like once we were like in our kitchen and they were on our back deck and we
Yeah.
like talked through the door, so we were like far enough apart but not like. And then the other time we were on our little patio out back and they were in the lawn like
We had,
10
like,
feet
two-
away.
we had,
It
like
was
two
like
tables set up outside.
so it's like it feels dumb. And like we'll go in our cul-de-sac because it's like buggy in our backyard and like put up chairs because nobody's down there and like
Right.
sit out there.
Yeah.
But so we haven't like it was cool to like stop by and see you guys the one day and talk to the kids far away. And Beal
Yeah.
and Bobby have come over a couple times and like because we've got the nice like neighborhood, we'll go for a walk in like the field in the middle and
Yeah.
Grayson can just like run around and not touch us. Even though he like ran up to Eva and kissed her belly. He's like Eva, like
Just,
kissed her
like,
on the
right
nose.
away.
So we've done like that, but we've seen people like we can count the times that we've seen
Yeah.
them and are still like far away.
And if his parents come by, like we just pretty much stay in the front yard the whole time. I think they're gonna come for Father's Day. We're gonna do like what we did with my mom and my brother, and just set up like 2 tables and barbecue. So we're doing like distanced outside kind of stuff, but very minimal at that, and really with like not that many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we had done up until this past week. Like Mother's Day, same deal. We did outside. My parents came over, and then we went over to his parents and did the same thing, just outside. But yeah, last weekend was the first time we've like we hung out inside the house with my parents. He went over to his house.
Yeah. Well, I imagine with like both your parents are home anyway, quarantining themselves.
So like ours is the opposite of you guys.
You guys
Ours is exposing them, not getting exposed. Like I don't know what it feels like to be like afraid of
getting it.
coming here and getting like if we're gonna get it, it's gonna be from my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so I'm more terrified of giving it to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's experience has like it depends on your circumstance. You know, like Matt and Elise were saying the same thing. Like they're the ones who are putting others at risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my dad is like going to like goofy concerts of like his friends still. Like you know what I mean? Like my mom works at Fox Chase Hospital or whatever cancer center in like the billing department, and for some reason they can't do that from home. So they're both like going places.
Yeah.
And we fortunately don't have to. Like I'd work from home entirely, so it's weird. Like Eva spent probably a month or two just home, and then started getting so fucking stir crazy. She would like come to the grocery store with me and like not touch anything, and she would just hold the grocery list, and I would be the hands.
Yeah.
Just to be out of the house for that hour, and we'd go like an hour before close, so no one is there really. So like we're not really interacting with people.
That's good.
We've lightened that like a little. We went to Wegmans like Sunday afternoon, which was like a huge mistake. We thought because it was nice out, people wouldn't be there. It was a huge mistake.
But we go there at night on Saturdays, and it's great. There's like nobody there.
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody gets close.
It feels extreme, but then we were talking to Jay and Christine, who are like as pregnant as we are, and both also work from home. I think that's the thing is like one first-time parents, so like we're obviously way more nervous than at any point we will be with this, and we all work from home, so like we don't have to go out, and so it's almost like we've made it this far without risking it. Why add any other risk if we don't have to? And so talking to them was like like the same thing. Christina go to the grocery store for a while. Now I think she's starting to go, but you know, my work is asking everybody to come back. Next week would be our last like a week we're allowed to work from home, and I basically was like, I'm not gonna come back then, and so I have to go. I'm going on FMLA early. I hope I get approved, but because I'm like at this point, like I'm not like before. What?
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, my doctor Lily, the day that my boss emailed me was the day she said stay away from people. So I would imagine she'll be like,
yeah,
this is a approved reason to not go to work.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. It's just at this point too, like we said, like obviously we don't want to get sick, but also, you know, yes, it's a low chance of Steve getting sick, but it's like such a risk that we're just not even, you know, willing to take that.
Yeah. At first it was like uncertainty, like what is like you don't want to get sick, you don't want to get it, and now like I don't think it would do too much damage to me, but just the circumstance of like now it's going to mess up the like birth plan. It's not worth it.
If I got it and then like go into labor and then I'm like going to quarantine for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like
the baby, no way.
You know, like I can't see the baby for like the first 2 weeks of his life. Like just all of that seems like not worth it. So
yeah, the other real part of that is like, what do we do when we have the baby home and people want to come see it, like our parents?
Yeah,
and we're like,
yeah. I mean,
there's Zoom.
I was gonna say we're gonna Zoom you like to see that baby, but we're not coming anywhere near it.
We're pretty much gonna not let anybody. I think that's our biggest thing is the parents factor.
Of course.
I'm feeling somewhat better about it because I was reading that the numbers in PA are like really getting low. So I'm hopeful that if people continue to like, you know, it's hard because people are like, we went to Ambler to get takeout tonight. There was like outdoor seating. People were just like out and about. So like, I know people are just starting to like go back into it. So I'm hoping that whatever, you know, the reopening, it doesn't actually affect the numbers too much. And if it keeps going down, I think by August, you know, we're going to see what our pediatrician says anyway, but I'll feel better if like, there's the really low numbers and our parents come in and have masks on and like maybe gloves even when they hold the baby. Like I would actually feel okay with that, I think, at this point, but you know.
Or even like some kind of shirt that you can put on them when they come in, like something so that they can hold the baby against.
That's true, and now they're like
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Like that'll be an idea. We get like everybody a baby vest kind of vibe. Like
baby smock.
here's your thing that we wash and take care of, and it lives here. You come in, throw it on, and like boom, babies.
Yeah,
That's a way of like, you know, any germs that may be on them at all.
yeah.
And they have found that it really doesn't travel by like
Touch.
and stuff like that as much as they thought.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the mask really should
It's
be.
just gonna be really the masks, I think, that will just, you know. So yeah, that's kind of, I think, where
We'll figure it out.
I'm feeling way less stressed about it than I was like a month or two ago when like the numbers were still high, and you know, I was like so anxious thinking about it. But now I'm feeling more hopeful that like the numbers will stay low and the risk will be low, and
Yeah.
so
We'll be here soon enough. How
We'll
are the
see.
kids doing with all this?
I think good. I think the fact that we moved during all of this helped a lot.
Yeah.
Actually,
It
they
does,
kind of
yeah.
distracted them from not being able to see friends and family and everything. You know, they were exploring this new house and neighborhood. So that really helped. But the downside is like we haven't met anybody in the neighborhood.
It's very hard and very weird.
Yeah, because you know, trying to talk to people from far away and like meet them that way is just it's kind of awkward. They actually played with a neighbor kids for the first time 2 days ago, I think it
Yeah.
was. They like knocked on the door and were like, "Can they come out and play tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." So we like stayed in the cul-de-sac and they were on their bikes and you
Yeah.
know,
And with those people, they said they're not worried about COVID. They're like, you know what it is. They're not worried about it. So they're like, if you want to come over and play, you can.
Yeah.
But the ones right next door to them, they're one of their kids.
yeah, one of their kids is like immunocompromised, so
They're like, no.
we never see them at
Yeah.
all. We have 5 kids, we've barely seen them at all,
Yeah.
which is completely understandable. I can't imagine being, you know, been worried enough about them getting it, and you know, but I can't imagine if there was already an issue.
Yeah. Right. That's scary.
But I mean, I think our kids are doing well. I think they're.
Yeah.
I think Owen, actually, the youngest, he's, you know, I think he's had the hardest time with it. He's having them home all the time. Having his days alone, like my days off, he'd be alone with me or alone with my in-laws. He got so much attention, and then it was all of a sudden they're home 24/7, and
Chaos probably for him.
like I think he actually had the hardest time with it.
Yeah,
He's difficult.
he is 100% of the time. He is so much all the time, and
You don't say.
but
You don't say.
yeah, he just doesn't stop, and it's from morning until he goes to sleep. He's just
Pat's alone with the kids a lot more than he used to be. So
yeah.
yeah, we have alternating schedules completely. We still have not had anyone watch the kids except my mom for 2 hours a couple days ago for a job interview for me.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully get out of bedside. We'll see.
Yeah, but that's going to be changed. We're going to incorporate our parents into it.
Yeah,
We're
they've
starting to
all
get-
said they're ready
yeah.
to start watching the kids again. So it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, your kids were cool. Like the day we were there, we were in like the backyard, and I was like, asked them about it. I was like, "What do you think about this?" And I think it was Nathan. He's like, at first it was weird. Now it's kind of normal. I was like, "All right, man, cool."
yeah,
And that's what kind of sucks about it too, because it's like, I really don't want you to think this is normal.
Yeah.
weird when your 2-year-old keeps his mask on when you're out, like when you're
Yeah.
seeing people. Like
And he gets excited when he sees them, but when he runs up to them, for the most part, not eventually he goes over to them, but he runs up to them, but then he stops because he
He's
knows
pretty
that
good.
he's supposed to
it's just weird that
kind of
that's
stay
normal.
away a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Like probably only on the walks, like we've seen Grayson and he was like walking, and he like went to look down like there's a little hill, and he just like put his hand out, and I was next to him, and I just left him hanging. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, dude.
Well, that's Owen went running for Pat's mom like a month or two ago, and this was one that was like really bad, and we didn't really, she
No.
had to run away from him. She was like running away and like just crying, like just
Ugh,
from her little 2-year-old grandson.
I know.
He didn't get it at all at that point. Like he's like, Nanny, hug.
Yeah.
It was just sad.
That sucks. I think just as quick as they kind of normalize to this, they'll revert back the other way.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see little ones like Owen and Jack, and like how do they adjust
back to.
back? You know what I mean? Like spending Maeve, like when you're growing up and you don't have that much exposure.
Yeah.
Maybe she won't.
Maybe she will.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
Ultimate dad joke.
That's the ultimate dad.
Full of them.
But yeah, they were good about it. I remember Nathan like correcting me on my distance. He's like, "Can you go over there?" I was like, "All right."
Back up a little bit.
Yeah, he was like,
I'm
you're
still
like,
there. I was like,
Surprised
Oh,
at
this
how
is like
well
6
all of them have been like with that. They're like, yeah, no, we're keeping our distance, and they don't fight you on it. They just
No.
no.
Molly has full blown like embraced the air hug, and she loves it. Air hug, air hug.
so
Like-
sweet. She's like the sweetest little thing.
I miss them. One day when one of you are home, we'll set up a Zoom for them. I want to talk to them. We're supposedly going to talk to Eleanor and Daphne this weekend as well for a
Oh yeah,
That'll be cute.
It should be funny.
Yeah.
I tried to set them up. I was like, Eleanor, we're making a TV show, and I want you to be on it. And she was like, oh,
What?
yeah?
It's so sweet. Like it's cute because like, it'd be fun to talk to them. It'd be fun to talk to your kids because they're more conscious of like what this all means. Like Eleanor asks a lot of questions. Like when we told her, she was like so excited. Like she literally like started tearing up. She was like, "You're gonna be a mom and you're gonna be a dad." The other day, she's like, "Are you excited to be a mom?" Like she asks like such genuine questions. And I think your kids will be like that too. Like we'll ask them questions about being kids, and they'll just like give us real answers.
Eva and Jess FaceTime all the time, and Eva's app has the like, what is the baby this week? It's like a cantaloupe or whatever. So Eleanor always goes, Eva, what is the baby this week?
Yeah.
I'm always interested in like the thing.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. It'll be fun. I'm curious how, on top of COVID, the world is struggling with like the Black Lives Matter thing and all that. Like, have you had to broach that with the kids?
So I did a little bit a few times, but I mean, being where we are and not going anywhere and being at home, and we don't really watch the news in front of the kids at all. They really.
we don't really watch the news. We
No,
watch Facebook.
I get my news from like online. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the only place Nathan really has watched the news is at
My
his parents and
and
my
that's been a
parents'
while.
house. So and they've been there in 3
Yeah.
4 months, whatever it's been. But I had like a big talk with the kids the one day when everything was starting, and just kind of like touching on things here and there, but they really have no idea of anything that was going on over the last few weeks. I don't. Yeah, if we had lived where we did prior to all of this, they would have heard things. They would have heard some of the rioting and everything. Some of our neighbors had mentioned our old neighbors had mentioned hearing stuff. So I think that would have affected them more if they were scared. Like a lot of my coworkers who live in Northeast Philly, kind of by where we did, their kids were in their beds with them every night, terrified, hearing the noises and scared of what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of had talks about what was going on, but in more like general terms than, oh, this is what's actually going on right
Yeah,
now.
we definitely haven't been affected as much as we've seen all around. We've been lucky,
Yeah.
and it which makes it kind of hard to communicate to the kids about what's going on.
Yeah, like I tried to start broaching topics about it, and I was like, well, I can't, like, I don't want to, I don't know. It's hard. They're still at like young and naive, and they get really scared about things, and like they're terrified. Like Molly's terrified every night. Like, are we gonna get robbed? Am I gonna get abandoned? Like she's every night.
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna get robbed and abandoned? I'm like, what are you talking? You know, it's just I don't want to add.
I'm not gonna abandon you. We have a security system. No one's gonna rob us, and if they do, I got you.
You know, it's,
You know.
So I try to do things in the more general terms of like, no one should ever be treated differently because of the climate scam, and there's plenty of people in this world that do, and if you see that, hear that, you need to stick up for them. And, you know, just the more general, like how to be a good person type things, then you know that there's really true evil in this world.
Yeah, I was interested how, because they're like more cognizant of than like any, because they're older than any of the other kids they would be, if they're picking up what you're putting down, they go like, yeah, everybody's cool. I'm just kind of like,
They very much like, well, why? Like Nathan, I mentioned something about like the police brutality and like how, you know, things have happened, and he was like, why? Like just could not even fathom the idea that something like that happened, and he didn't even know the half of what actually happened.
And he talks about, it's funny when he brings up like there's this one black kid in class, and he always says the black skin kid. I'm like, oh, you know, don't call him your friend. He's just describing him because,
I mean, the school he went to, there was only like 2.
I laugh because kids are just like, when you don't know, that's like the challenging thing. Like the way we grew up, like you don't, this shit I've learned, like people ask like, what about, how do you riot? Like all the people complained about that, but like we wouldn't talk about any of this shit if it wasn't such a big deal, like a big deal in that way, and things that like affect us and whatever. And, you know, like we were talking to somebody and they were like, yeah, we asked if their like environment was diverse, and they're like, yeah, and they list the 3 people. And like we went to school together most of the way, and it was like, you know, these were the 5 black kids in our school, you know, these were the couple Indian kids, you know, like, and the stuff that I think about now, because I didn't have that lens then, is like, that's what we're thinking a lot about, is like, how do you broach that with kids if you're in a majority white neighborhood? You just are, right? Like that's where you're at right now. So if you're not exposed to black people, it's like, how are you broaching this conversation where they're like, what are you talking about? You know, I think that's, you know, our neighborhood is majority white people that I see when we like walk, and so it's building up our circles in a way, like we're thinking a lot about that, of how to like get books or shows or that show different kinds of characters that aren't just like, I'm thinking of all the ways that we were kind of just absorbing this shit and didn't realize what we were kind of being programmed with.
I had I grew up in the country. There was like no diversity at all. People in my high school drove tractors to our high school with Confederate flags flying off the back. Like it just
so diverse.
Think about the like little exposure I had growing up. It's just crazy. And I mean, I don't know what is right with that. That's one thing that like I truly don't know, because I'm still identifying my own prejudices that I didn't even know I really had, like things that have just kind of have been built into me, or you know.
Right. I mean, all of us have that. I was telling Steve, because when we first moved to America, we moved to Baltimore, and I went to a school it was a called Wellwood International School, and it was like all types of different people, like from different countries, from different areas, like, you know, white kids, black kids, kids from China, kids from, you know, like a lot of my friends were like from really different countries. And I just grew up in like, that was like what I like knew. And then I moved to Allentown and like went to 5th grade. And I remember like as a 9 or 10-year-old being like, that's so weird. There's only like one black person in my whole class, like in our whole like grade, from going from that to that. And then it just became so normalized to me that I don't think I even consciously thought about it much more beyond that. And that's, I think, the shitty thing. And it sucks because, you know, that's where you start to like not really learn about different people. And, you know, Allentown's like half country, half, I don't say country, but like,
Yeah, it's like it's more than suburban. It's like out there in the
It can be a little bit like
It's
bumpkin, as
rural.
we say, rural, half like, like I went to school with like extremely wealthy like white people, and there was definitely like some, small percentage of diversity, but even that, like, it was so separated then by the time I was in high school that, like, yeah, it's just,
Yeah, how do you teach it if they're not exposed to it and they don't really see it?
I think that's something too that we're like, thinking about and not in a way that's like we're going to seek out people to like fulfill this like need to have diversity in our life, but also like the question of like, well, why don't we have more of that in our like friend circles, and yes, part of it is like you guys all grew up together, like that's just what your life was, right? But there's also a part of it that's like, is there something that we're,
Yeah. I think it's all
just
circumstance
a
too.
lot
You're
of
living in
questions
that
and
like
thoughts, yeah.
most of the people in our world have some root a decade
Mm.
and more back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of things, and I think the nice and good thing I think is that like, we're finally in a position I think where a lot of people are thinking about it and thinking about like how can I do better? How can I make sure my kids do better? Instead of like, because it's not like these protests haven't been happening for years, like as far as like with Black Lives Matter has been going on for many years, but this is the first time that I've seen that like so many people are like listening and paying attention to it and talking about it, with us at least. And so that's,
I think we definitely grew up in that like Northeast Philly has that like super Blue Lives Matter kind of mindset. And like I always thought like that like they must have done something. Like I always was like the police are right. You know what I mean? Like even you watch like cartoons like police are the good guys and
Yeah.
everybody else must be the bad guys and all this ingrained like stuff even at that level. So I get where it's like so baked in. I think that's why I can like navigate some of those conversations is because like I've been on that side of like that how you're raised in that way to think all those things and
yeah.
the like veiled language of like thugs or if you don't expose to black people and your parents watch the news and the news has stories and depicts folks as criminals, it just becomes this thing like
Yeah.
And then like Juneteenth I heard a lot about today, but I don't remember ever hearing a lot about Juneteenth ever.
Last, I don't know, however long I've had like iPhones and the calendar that I use, it's probably the last like 5 years I've been using that calendar for everything. I've noticed Juneteenth on there and I was like, no idea what that is. I had never heard of it except on my calendar. Every year it says Juneteenth, but I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
Until this week, honestly.
Which
that's awful. Like
I had no idea what that was until Wednesday when they said there is a possibility that we're going to have off on Friday because of Juneteenth Day. Mm-hmm. And I said, what the hell was Juneteenth Day? Like, what is that? Like, I got a day off of it, but I was like, I have no idea what that is. But cool.
And people who like listen to bits and pieces of the news and whatever, like my mom called me today and she was like, what the hell is this Juneteenth Day that's going on? She heard something, she thought it was something Trump was doing. She's not a fan of Trump. She's like annoyed by Juneteenth because she thought it was something Trump had done.
Oh.
What is he doing now?
Something.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It was like just like a whole other.
He like put his thing on the day and then moved it and made it seem like he made
it a thing that people now are paying attention to.
Yeah, like no one knew about this, but like I told her.
Yeah, like no.
But my mom heard about it and was just like, what is he doing now? And I was like, hold on. I learned about it this week.
Yeah.
I'll educate you.
I think that's like a thing that we can do as parents is like, our history classes didn't explain or teach us about like anything or a very like whitewashed or very like PG version of what really went on. And I think, it'll be important for us to like add more to that with our kids so they understand like this is what really happened. This is what's really still happening as a result. And I
think that like the information has never been there. Like we're probably the first generation of parents who have this chance to like amend the history books. You know what I mean? Like the stuff they only go to a certain depth of like Lincoln freed the slaves. And I was like, all right, cool. Everybody's like regular. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's like a whole thing there that now the documentaries, the things that have come out in the last 10 years are available to like show Nathan when he's like old enough to see. Because I don't like my parents don't even know that stuff to fill in. You know what I mean? To like the Juneteenth and the context.
For sure.
One benefit to all the info, aside from all the negatives of like the Twitters and everything that's breaking Matt's brain. Deleted all his social media because it's just. It's too much.
I want to delete it just because it's so stupid. I hate everyone.
I'm just trying to send memes, and there's like an Instagram chat with me, Matt, Pat, Mike, and like Pat doesn't use it, and Matt ghosted it.
This is Mike.
I'm sending it to an Instagram you had like years ago that I know you don't use. I just put you in there just in case.
Years ago?
I don't know. I assume you made it years ago.
Have
I know you don't use it.
Slippery dog.
Yeah, I think you made it once.
That's like a year ago, I think. I don't know.
No, that's like 5 years ago.
No, it's not.
Anyway, it's just me and Mike. I'm like, okay.
So sent to Mike.
It's all there if you guys need it. I don't know. But with all this weird, we've gone episode out of order because we haven't done a guest in a while. We didn't talk about how we know each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a episode staple.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with you because I've known you since first grade, and what I remember from knowing you is your dad brought in a bunch of glue sticks for the whole first grade class. Miss Mersch. Did you have Miss Mersch too?
I'm just kidding. I think so. You guys all have better memories than me. I don't remember. I remember I had Miss Cressman in 4th grade. That was the only teacher I remember.
You don't remember first grade?
No.
All right. Well, your dad brought in a whole bunch of glue sticks, and that's how I knew you. Like, that's my memory of you.
That's so funny.
If I knew you were around because we went to grade school together, and this is like my spotty memory. Pat was there, and I don't know which years he went to a different school where his mom was a teacher, and then he came back. I think you came back for 7 and 8.
I came back for 8. I was gone from the middle of 4th till the end of 7th.
So I have
8th grade. I was back.
A vague memory of either pre you going or when you're back or whatever, playing like wiffle ball on your little street, like little Vista Street.
Yeah.
I have that memory, but that was before we were like. What's that?
I like that you remember Vista Street.
I think that my grandparents lived on Vista too, but just like, you know how it continues way down?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I remember that. But yeah, on the little Vista, I have that weird memory. And it was like one of those hollow bats. Like I remember that specifically, and we might have broke it.
Mondos?
Yeah, Mondo bat. And then I don't really, like, we weren't like best friends then necessarily, I don't think, because we were like pretty little. And then when we became close was high school, and I was friends with Steve Spader. I stole you, yeah.
We became best buds.
Yeah, that was an issue. Because I was friends with Steve Spader, and then I hung out with him. He was everybody's drinking on the train tracks, which was a thing.
Which was a pretty cool thing. Back in the day.
Sounds dangerous, but.
And it was like, at the time.
Actually, the one time it was.
It was mostly dangerous. At the time, you didn't drink, because it was probably like sophomore, junior. It's probably junior year of high school.
Yeah.
And then we started to hang out all the time, and like you and Matt got your licenses, and we drove to the suburbs, and like that was I stole you from your other group of friends, and we just never looked back, man. And then I was there the night that you both met, because Jen, you worked with Matt, and it was the Einstein holiday party in Manayunk.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'd consider you met Pat that night because Pat's soul wasn't in his body, or you met him.
Wait, so I met Pat a whole year before that in Sea Isle. But we were both not okay. Like, it was New Year's Eve in Sea Isle at the OD. and I remember I like had like a moment of whatever, and we were dancing together in the OD, and I remember Matt grabbing me and saying, "If you don't want my friend to kiss you, you need to go away right now."
Which was pretty rude.
So I walked away.
Yeah, if Pat had a network TV show, he would have got canceled for sure. And there was a few years there.
A few
You
years.
had your grade A flirting, playing like the tee golf, and absolutely firing a water bottle across the table at Jen, like flirting.
I forgot about
Hey,
that.
she's got to know about it.
He was like, and he would like try to like play, like toss it to her, and he would just rocket it across the table at her.
How hardcore are you? I mean, what? I need to know.
Yeah, can you handle 3 kids with me? And you could. It was love at first water bottle.
Mm.
Crazy kids. And then we met Eva.
I don't remember when I met you guys.
I feel
Fun.
like I met you at Kitchen Bar.
Yeah, you guys probably came in while I was working.
I think we came one day, and I think you came over to the table. And
Yeah, I was like, hi.
I think that was the first time.
Checks out.
That
I
was
think
like
that's where I met most of you guys, actually.
I
Matt
think
and Mike, for sure.
pre anything. Like I feel like
Oh, like when we were like sort of hanging out, but not really.
Yeah, we had a time. We've all had a time. There's always this.
We've all had our moments.
You're not really living unless you have that, like, that's,
Where you got
you get to a point.
know.
Yeah,
Things are happening.
things are happening.
you make a baby, you figure it out.
You bought a house. You got married.
Oh, it all worked out.
That's big
for
thing.
all 4 of us.
It really worked out.
Just hanging out.
Late night VFW, palling around. It's where it always happens. I threw a water bottle at you at the VFW. And love me forever.
He has the hiccups again. If you didn't notice.
The worst. So, closing-ish segment. We always ask folks what was like the most surprising or challenging part of becoming a parent.
A third one?
Becoming a parent.
For the record, when our kid sees this, in Pat's life, this has always meant 3, and then white nationalists stole it. Pat is not associated. I assume in 20 years that won't age well.
It's a good disclaimer there.
Pat just found out what Juneteenth is. Yeah, Pat usually throws it in the trifecta.
The most challenging part of being a parent or becoming a parent was
Yeah.
he needs to go away. Dealing with this guy, maybe.
Being married to
Yeah.
that.
Being a mother of 4.
I don't know. Learning to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember Nathan was an amazing baby. He was very good, but there was a 3-week period where he was really, really difficult. And my parents so I lived with my parents at that time, and my parents happened to fly out to California because my nephews were being born, the twins. And so I was alone for 3 weeks with a newborn baby, and my aunt was in town, and I remember calling. She's from Florida, and I remember calling her and just being like, "I need you," and like I'm not good about asking for help, like admitting that I just can't do it. I try to do a lot. The only person I really admit that I can't do things to is this guy. I'm like, I need help.
And I'm just like, just do it. just do it.
But yeah, that's I think a really hard thing, like admitting you cannot do everything, and you're not supposed to. You're really not. You need to lean on the other person and ask for help. I know it's gonna be a little challenging with COVID, and you don't have people coming over as much, but asking for help is a big deal. Even if it's asking someone to go do your grocery shopping because, if baby's not sleeping and you guys are both just fried, ask for help.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah, it's solid.
Or like with each kid, we've realized how much time we've actually had before that previous kid. Like like when if it was just us and people were like, you want to do this, and we're like, we don't have time to do that. It's like you really do. If you want to do it, you can. But each kid is just like, oh, we are legit losing time. Like we have no time.
But it's all relevant. Like, I mean, just because you don't have 3 kids doesn't mean that you're not busy and not overwhelmed. And
Yeah, everybody says that though. Like everybody's like, I thought I had no time.
Yeah, and I have one
and
kid.
then I had less time.
And then I had
like,
another
shit.
one.
Actually realize what time means.
Yeah, I mean, it just, that's another thing. You just learn how to juggle your time better, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly do that. You certainly learn how to deal with that.
What is the best parenting advice you've got? Or what do we need to know?
I don't know. Keep your kids alive.
Yo,
Great advice.
I mean, honestly, when the days get hard, if you're still alive, the baby's still alive and healthy, you've done your job.
Yeah.
Some days suck, but
And
and I know the like sleep when the baby sleeps thing.
Yeah, that seems like anyone ever actually does that.
Try to. It's your first.
Yeah.
Try to as much as you can, but
I actually might, because I cannot, like, especially with being pregnant, I wake up in the middle of the night, like if I have to pee or if I'm just like, for whatever reason, I cannot fall back asleep. So I have a much harder time sleeping at night if that happens. So I imagine that, like, especially in the beginning, it'll be harder for me to fall back asleep once he's up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But during the day, I think I'll have an easier time napping than I will actually falling asleep at night.
What people say, like, the dishes can wait, the cleaning can wait. Like, I had that, like, if the baby's asleep, I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to
do something.
But I need to do something. You're like, no, you really don't.
Yeah.
You really do not. You need to take care of yourself so you can take care of that baby.
Yeah.
Because if you're not well rested, your fuses are short. I just remember melting down at times, like just that down of like, I'm just tired.
Yeah.
But you need to take care of yourself. I mean, so many people told me that, and I didn't listen. Do it.
I'll be the one that listens. I'm like, I'll try.
And I know some babies sleep wonderfully. That's a wonderful thing for the baby. Like, Nathan was a fabulous sleeper. He was so good. Yeah, he was a wonderful sleeper. So hopefully you get one of those.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're gonna try. I mean, that's the advantage too of like you had an 8-year head start on us. You know what I mean? So we got to like the point of doing this too, in part, is like, all right, what are we overlooking? What should we be thinking about? Trying to actually listen to people that have done it. Yeah. Which was like the hardest way to learn, because you were like, we'll see, but try to like actually
and walk away. Like if like the baby's just like not stopping and you've done everything, put the baby down, because baby's gonna be fine.
I had to leave the house with Molly multiple times. I had to just walk out.
Yeah.
That was
hard.
We did that for like 4 hours, and it was like, whoa.
I remember we like watched Molly when she was in her like age, and we finally got her to calm down. Probably at the end, you were so scared to leave, and I felt so bad. I was like, "It's fine, we're fine, everything's gonna be fine." She probably cried like the whole time.
It wasn't fine.
The whole time. I think really like the last hour, maybe we finally got her to like chill out.
But that's how she was for 8 months.
Yeah.
Like,
she wouldn't even go to me. Like she was god awful.
I had to have her
the worst.
inside my shirt, not like in a wrap. She had to be like up against my skin, inside my shirt. And
the microwave fan had to be on.
Remember that? I had to be like, turn the stick on, have the microwave thing on.
I truly, like, Nathan was 2.5 when I had her, and like, I have no idea what he did those days.
Those days, those
no
like
idea.
2
Like,
years.
He raised himself.
Those
for
2 years, he just ended up being 4.5 years old.
No, for like 8 months. I I have no idea. I thank God he was a good kid because she was.
Yo, crying doesn't do that justice either. Like babies cry. Like Molly, like it was scary cry. Like
That was
cry
fun.
herself out of
Nothing.
breath.
That was when she was.
I'll like never forget. We got in the car that after you guys got home, we left. We got in the car and Steve was like, what do you want to do? Like, we can do anything. Like, let's go do something. We're just like, we don't have kids. Let's embrace this moment.
Let's just go to Italy.
Spoiler, we did.
That was her from day one, though. Like,
Yeah,
the
she was obviously.
She cried for 2 hours straight, and the nurses were like, "We have never seen a baby like that."
She
Like,
legit cried 2 hours. Like from the moment she ended out,
Yeah.
like
she was.
it was like, what the hell is going
So,
on?
I didn't know that.
She was. The nurse like, we've never seen that.
And that was a legit 2 hours. It's not just
Someone
us.
just came-
It's not just us saying like, oh, you know.
No, it was
It
bad.
feels like it was 2. It was 2 hours. 2 hours.
Crazy.
Give me 1 second.
The dog or the kids.
The motion sensor went off, so it's one of the kids. So it's downstairs.
Someone's downstairs.
Bring them out. Bring
Yeah.
them out.
Oh, it's Molly. She was talking about her. But yeah, no, like honestly, if the baby's like, I mean, they all have their moments of just crying. They do, even the really good ones.
Yeah.
If you just are fried, you just put them down. They'll be safe, even if they're crying, and you just walk away for a second.
He better have Molly.
He does.
Special guest. Hello.
Hi, Molly.
What are you doing?
She was sleeping, I think.
Can't sleep. We miss you.
Blow kisses.
I heard you like air hugs.
Air hug. All right, we'll go up to your room. I'll be up in a few minutes, okay? Hi, Mom. I'll be right.
Hi, Molly. So cute.
Sorry.
That was the best. Sleepy kids.
She's like putting on a big smile, like, what the hell is
What's going on?
Hey, what? We get an interview? Oh, just trying to get an extra book.
Yeah.
Worst,
so-
worst baby, best kid.
Oh yeah.
Oh
One-
yeah, that's for
Mhm.
sure.
Molly's so cute.
Yeah. Seriously, that's so funny. She's like such a sweet little sweetie.
Oh, she's got
She-
the best. She's so good. She takes care of everyone. she's sweetheart.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, fun fact: Nathan just started riding his 2 wheels today.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so exciting, very exciting.
I thought you took a video of that like
That
a
was
while
Mom.
ago. That was Molly. Nice.
Yeah, he's catching up.
Yeah, Molly started riding her bike. Like,
Bro, I rode my 2 wheels when I was like 16. Whatever.
And he never did it again.
Never.
I tried to ride Nathan's when we first bought him his bike last year, and I fell right over it. Oh, it is not true. You do forget.
I like bike riding.
Let's
I'll
go
get
buy a bike right
after
now.
this baby.
So final segment when you tuck in your babies is you can ask us whatever questions you want.
What are you most scared of, or anxious about, or
I think I've answered this before, and I think I said the same thing. Probably all of it. Definitely childbirth. I'm very nervous about childbirth. I have like an irrational fear that I'm going to die.
Just do a few shots of vodka.
Just very
We're
far.
all right doing it.
I'm sure they won't take the baby away from me then. Yeah, I have like a fear that I'm going to die, so I'm like scared about that. Someone's setting off fireworks in our neighborhood. So that's going to be scary. And then I think just all of it will probably make me anxious. I'm an anxious person. It's hard because like being in quarantine and then like my work schedule is like very loose. Like, you know, and like for most people, that's probably like, I don't even want to make it seem like I'm complaining about it. Like I really don't have a lot to do. And then I see clients sporadically in between. But for me, like my personality just has a really hard time with that. And so like I've just had a lot of moments, and probably part of that is like hormonal and, you know, but it's just been really like emotionally challenging where I'll have like days where it's just like really rough. And so but I've always had that. So like part of me is like, okay, if it's what happens after this baby, like I'll be able to like, you know, if I need to go on medication, it'll be fine. But I think the thing that I worry about is like that is just like being at home, being scared, being anxious. Like we don't really know what to expect. Like, is he going to be a good kid? And I'm sure, of course, all the other things of it is like once he's actually here, I'm going to be like so nervous that he's not breathing and doing the thing where I check his nose, like just all of it. I think just all of it.
When you're just home, you don't have distractions to like. You can only think about like what's going wrong, what's in this.
Yeah. So
No, there's a difference. Like when he gets here, like obviously you're gonna be terrified of the new baby. You're in charge of him and you're scared about everything. But I know I've actually had two close friends who had pretty severe postpartum anxiety, and like they didn't recognize it for a little while. Like, how bad it was. And that's one thing, like, you know, to talk, like always talk to your OB about it and stuff. Like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and you know, this is what keeps me up at night, or this is like, because it's, you know, you shouldn't have to deal with that. You shouldn't have to deal with
it's
stuff.
real. It's not you being crazy. It's not.
Sure.
It's not anything. Just like you know, if you feel like you are feeling strongly towards something, like talk to someone.
Like I had I had postpartum depression after Molly, like pretty intense. I mean, with a colicky baby.
I don't know why.
With a colicky baby, it's very common.
Perfect.
It's really common, but I didn't recognize it until I actually started to see the light a little bit. It started during my pregnancy with her, which actually happens at times, which I didn't know about. But you know, you have to fill out like a paper after you have a baby and everything, and it asks you all these screening questions. And I remember filling that out and thinking like, oh yeah, I do have some of these, but like checking off no.
Yeah.
Like I didn't fully see it until I was out of it, and I was so bad that I had someone that had experience, and like because I you know I went through this stuff with like no one really to talk to about it. Like so,
I really wasn't home too much.
No.
Yeah, that's
but, so just like Steve, you know, if you see things like you know, just you know, you shouldn't have to deal with that stuff. And, you know, I wouldn't want that for you. So
we've fortunately been like really trying to work on our stuff for a long time and make sure that we're ready. And like Eva, you've been seeing a therapist for a long time as part of your regular routine. So like mental health has always been like a priority.
For sure.
And there's a lot of like, we talk about this often. I'm like, I'm not equipped to deal with some stuff.
Yeah.
So like you have your therapist, and I always like, Eva will ask me like a pregnancy thing. I'm like, dude, text Jen, Bobby, Jess, Erica, like people who've experienced it. Like, I don't fucking know. Like I can only do so much.
Yeah.
So we've worked on like establishing a good network of support to just like make sure we use it.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing is because I'm so anxious and I have moments that are very, you know, I don't want to say like I have depression, but moments that are rough and and they last a couple days. But he'll know to like Bobby was like, Steve should pay attention more to like if something's different. But I also wonder like, will it just be like this is how she is sometimes, you know? So we have to just kind of be, I think
our radar will be up for that for sure.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Yeah. But I think it'll be okay. I think there's also part of it that like will be easier in a lot of ways is that, you know, originally I would have been home on leave or whatever, and then Steve would have been gone back to work, but now he's working from home and he probably will be at least for during my 6-week leave.
They're talking about like the earliest possible go back to the office for like the first wave that want to be there is like September.
Okay.
So I'll be here for first month for sure, if not longer.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So you'll see, you know, you'll be there.
Yeah. And so I think that'll also just be nice to like not be by myself in the situation.
Yeah. What
freaking out.
How long do I have?
None. Like a day.
I think a week.
Yeah.
I think I get 10 days like paternity, and then I could use vacation also, and I'll just be working from home anyway. Like once I'm working, I'll still be here.
Yeah.
And my boss is super cool. She's got like 2 little kids, 6 and like 2 or 3, and like totally gets it and is like one of the good ones. So if I'm ever like, hey, fuck this meeting, I gotta go deal with something, she'll be like, yeah, for sure do that.
Yeah. So I think that'll be just in terms of like not even like postpartum anxiety or depression, just like I think that'll just make it easier on the scarier parts to not be like by myself.
Well, and even if if you know he's working the whole time, like you know he's there if shit goes down.
For
Like,
sure.
that's what, and I'll never forget like saying to him, you know, because the winter when Molly was so bad and I was going through shit and like whatever, I just remember saying like I can see how parents can do things, can snap
Yeah.
if they have no one else, because I knew he was coming home at some point, even if it was 2 days later after his working, you know, I knew that someone would be coming back to help. And
Yeah.
like that's huge, having support, even if like you're busy for the whole day, like she knows you're there, and that's
Yeah.
just in the back of your mind, like that's such a comfort and such a
Yeah, just to know that like you're eventually gonna get a moment
Yeah.
away.
I'm literally a knock on the door away of
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll just shut my computer and,
Yeah.
you know, there's nothing I do that can't wait.
that'll be good.
What are you scared about?
I'm scared about that. Like I've historically, the inverse is like, I don't have anxiety. I don't get it. You know, like we've been talking about like potentially me like seeing Eva's therapist or something. Cause like I'm
with
not
me.
fully equipped to manage that. Like we're like Northeast Philly, like just stop it. Like, have you tried stopping it? You know what I mean? Like when you're sad, like, why don't you just stop being sad? That's like the approach I've always had. But that's, you know, and that's like some male bullshit, some all guy high school, whatever it, like whatever that formula was, is like, I just don't. So like managing all of that, and like I'm scared about you on that slippery slope. I think you'll be fine.
I think so too.
And it's fine if you're not, but it's, that's the stuff that worries me more than like, yeah, I think everything would be cool.
I
But
think
it'll be tough.
if you even thought about it beforehand, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course you're going to worry about all these things, and you know, rightfully so. But you'll figure it out as it goes on. It's the scariest time is like before it actually happens. Once you start going, you figure stuff out as you go, and it gets easier. Like I mean, of course, it's going to be tough. I'm not saying it's not going to be tough, but it's going to get easier, and it's, you know, these anxieties that you have, they're going to get less and less, even though they may fill up your brain so much. But
Yeah.
you know, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It won't be as bad as some of the things that you're thinking now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think like, you know, the actual like parenting part, like I don't know what it's gonna be like, so I can't. But I know like, you know, how much I love all of the kids in our lives. And so I know that that's a testament of like a part of how much I'll feel for our kid. And you know, I think we know that we've seen it happen for so many of our friends, like you guys included. Like at no point have we ever thought parenting was like going to be fun and easy the whole time, which is good because it's not
Yeah.
the reality. We're not going into this like,
We've seen the real shit.
Yeah.
obviously it's
Owen,
know until you're in it, but you know,
Molly, you've seen them at their best.
yeah,
We've changed diapers. We've, you know, like we've got, you know,
You
I
guys
never did that until Nathan. You know what I mean? Like it was the first kid I like had any kind of experience interacting with, watching,
Mhm.
helping like put down for naps or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, and for the record, like, you know, we're here. No matter if like Steve's at work or you guys are, you know, we're here. It's
we owe you guys like 8,000 days.
all right. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
We do,
We're
so-
just here if you are on the very last leg and you need someone.
when it's safe to watch
yeah.
the boy.
we got you. You're the last resort, but we'll.
Only because you're
I'll
probably
make
the
sure he
busiest.
doesn't participate. I'll make sure he doesn't participate, okay? And then I'll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I trust Nathan and Molly to watch our kids. So
Yeah.
it's all baked in.
You should trust Molly to watch your kids.
I'm sure she'll be great.
Yeah, Nathan will figure it out.
Nathan will just do his own thing. Molly, she's a mother. She is absolutely a second mother to Owen.
Oh my
And
god.
Owen is an ungrateful piece of poo because he just scratches her and pinches her, and he the other day we're talking to someone on the phone and he rips out a chunk of her hair.
We hear this.
That little jerk.
We hear this horrible scream.
Yeah.
And Pat goes running downstairs. We were meeting with a financial advisor, and it was like Zoom meeting with him. Anyway, and we hear this scream, and he's like, he ripped out a chunk of her hair, and it was just lying on the ground when we came down.
And Molly is literally like, she showers him with like love and like she's so kind to him. And he's a little asshole.
We're potty training him right now, and she like helps him empty his little potty, and she's like, "Come on, you can help me flush it," and like just so sweet.
So sweet.
Love Molly.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
He's the meathead of the group.
Yeah, he's the you, not
Wow.
meathead, but he's the wild card, right?
The wild card for sure. Molly's you, Owen's Pat, Nathan's me. Nathan is the most unique. He's so funny.
Yeah.
I love when he FaceTimes me. It's only happened a couple times. All of it always ends abruptly. At some point, he's just gone. And there's no adult social cue to like, I think I've texted you, but like, I don't know what happened there. He didn't.
I was like, oh, hey, I just thought I'd call you.
You're so dumb. Every time we ask a kid, like, what should we name this baby? They just list people they know. What about Pat?
It was like,
Good night.
Said Pat and Jen, and they started ripping kids in class.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is Molly still coming down?
She's just been like hovering, like she keeps walking. And then I saw the curtains moving, like the screen door is like wide open, or not open, but like you can see inside. But I saw like the curtain next to it moving a little, and then she just popped out again.
Poor Molly.
I think she slept.
Who knows?
Who knows? Usually this is the time Owen wakes up. It's like usually between 10:20 and 10:40. On the dot, he wakes up for the first time.
There you go. You got a couple minutes. You got 6 minutes before you gotta.
Yeah.
Before it all goes to hell.
I'm excited you guys meet parents. I'm gonna be here before you know it. I can't believe how pregnant you are.
I know. Nobody has seen me, so it's going to be like.
Yeah, like I saw you probably a month and a half, 2 months ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jen will be there for the baby shower. She knows.
Oh, baby shower. He's like taunting me. He like texted Jess that day and was like, look what I just texted. I'm like, it's just like a joke that they have because I told them both, like, we're not doing it.
That's my shtick. Cause
what would you do, Eva, if you like were at the grocery store and you came home and there was like 20 people in your house?
I mean, I wouldn't be in our house. I would be in the cul-de-sac. I would probably be like, come on. I mean, I would like rally, but I don't know. It's just weird. I like wasn't sure if I was gonna have a baby shower originally anyway, and then my thinking was like, we'll just have like a barbecue kind of a thing, kind of like what Matt Lease did, and just make it like everybody can come and whatever. So I always wanted to be like not a big deal kind of a thing, and so like the thought of doing it like in our cul-de-sac or like in our small backyard, like
our house is a bad vibe too because you can, but it's stupid. It's not like your house. I just walk out back.
Right.
But like here, you got to go through the house, or you got to walk like 3 houses down on either side to go around. You know what I mean? Like it's a townhouse. So
yeah, it's just like a vibe.
Have it here. Is that what you're saying?
Have it in your backyard.
Yeah, either your house, Bill Bobby's house, somebody's house. The cul-de-sac's an all right vibe for like a drive-by, like. But Eva doesn't want it. It's like, all right, dude.
I know. I'm a fun sucker and some stuff, but it's just weird. And baby showers are awkward, and
so I didn't like showers because like I don't like the attention from me and all that. But it's nice getting to celebrate the baby mama to be.
I know, but it's just like I don't know. It's just like it's a weird time, and it's like the thought of being around so many people anyway at this point was like I don't even want that.
We'd have to do it like it wouldn't be any type of normal. Like at most it would be like your gram, your aunt, whatever, like they come. We'd have to either do time chunks.
Yeah.
Like Jen, Erica, Elise, Bobby can come in this window and the 6 of us can stay far enough.
Yeah.
Because that's manageable. And then another group, but like that Eva's face, she hates it right now, like thinking about it. But it's because, you know what I mean? Like, there's no scenario where we have 25 people all at once, especially because, like, our risk minimization plan.
It's so hard because, like, it's not like our families all are here. Like, my female relatives are either in Baltimore or New York, so it's like it's not a convenient thing for people just to like stop by, and so people are gonna be wanting to use our bathroom and
Yeah, like, okay, you come for 20-minute drive by.
and they're outside, and everyone's gotta like stand afar apart. It's just all of it, just yeah. So I know, but I would have probably done it if it wasn't this situation, but
Oh, yeah. You probably would have been forced to.
yeah, I mean, I probably would have been. I'm sorry, something would have been dropped on me if I said I didn't want it anyway, but
Yeah, it's weird times though.
it's weird times. Maybe
We'll figure it
with the
out.
second one, we'll do like a sprinkle.
It's unprecedented times.
It is unprecedented.
So I don't know. We'll see. Do we lose Pat for the night? Is this
I-
the episode?
I was gonna text him, and I realized his phone is next to me. So
Classic Pat.
I'm not
Especially-
sure.
The more kids you have, the more useless your phone is to your friends. So I'm like,
Oh.
texting either of you is a crapshoot always. So I'm like, Jen be in the hospital or in a baby room.
Yeah, or cleaning, doing dishes.
Yeah.
Just living that life. Pat, I'm sure like every once in a while he's like in it in our group text. And so then most of the time he's just like nowhere to be found.
He's probably in it when I'm trying to talk to him. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm just like super busy.
I can only imagine because I'm more present on my phone than Pat. That like if I'm ever away from it or like can't and I come back and there's like 52 texts, I'm like, what are you guys doing? And that's like what you get all the time.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, like half the time I ignore you guys and I just enjoy going for the ride. But yeah, half the time it's like what the hell just happened, and I'm just not responding.
Unless you're talking to Jen, then you got time to text.
Well, yeah, duh. I was
Should
in
we wrap this episode up?
Yeah. You guys have any other questions or anything?
Thanks for being on. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
role models of
Yeah,
parenting.
absolutely.
Parenting live on air.
Yeah, right. Wow. First on-air parenting
Just do it.
moment.
The only reason she's not down here now is because I locked her in her room.
Oh,
So
my
that's how you do it.
Yeah, you just put deadbolts on the outside, right?
You get some
Kylie,
buffs, and you're good.
with Mike and Erica, Kylie did, but she was like not about being on the camera. She was
No, Kylie.
surprising.
Yeah, Kylie was not
She was like,
about it.
That doesn't sound like her.
It took like midway through, I was like, oh, you didn't put Kylie to bed? She's just like off camera chilling,
Yeah,
watching
she's
TV.
just
Like,
there.
all right, cool.
All right. Thanks, guys, for being on.
Episode over. I'm not going to hang up. You know the drill.